Addictions Minister Yara Sachs defends the harm reduction approach to the drug crisis, which includes drug injection sites, arguing that this approach saves lives. Uh-oh, turns out I've got some statistics here from the government. Uh-oh, I wonder if this is all going to turn out to be bullshit, and she's just a woke lunatic who refuses to admit it. Refuses to admit that she's just purely an ideologue who doesn't actually care about any of this, doesn't care about anything other than pushing her woke agenda.
You talked about what you're hearing from stakeholders in terms of the harm reduction. You talked about drug testing. You talked about naloxone. Do you think Canada needs to expand its pharmaceutical alternative programs and or expand the number of supervised drug consumption sites, which are other harm reduction tools? Do you think that the country needs to expand kind of those two latter ones?
So I am a firm believer that harm reduction is healthcare. Harm reduction does include safe consumption sites.
It's always the opposite of reality. Harm reduction, it turns out, by the numbers, the data tells us, harm reduction is death care. That's a much more appropriate name. The left, the modern left, the woke left, just deals in euphemisms now. Euphemisms to try and hide the damage that their programs do. Like gender-affirming care, say.
It is concerning to me that this is becoming part of a polarized debate when we know that safe consumption sites just alone here have reversed 58,000 overdoses since 2016. We know the evidence shows that safe consumption sites work in community.
The evidence. Has she looked at the evidence? I wonder if she cherry-picked things. Because, I mean, what is the most cogent, what is the most salient evidence? Maybe it's how many people die. Maybe it's stuff like that. Let's see. Go back to 2016 here. Observed and projected opioid-related deaths, Canada, January 2016 to December 2024. So let's see. Now, if it's life-saving, as she says, if it really works, she's such a firm believer in it. And of course, it's safe injection sites, also free drugs. It's decriminalizing. If that all works, that's all harm reduction, right? It's multi-tiered, it's multi-pillared harm reduction. If that all works, you should see reduction in deaths, right? We don't. That's not what we see at all. Here we go. I mean, you can see for yourself. 2016, what, about 600 in a year? Actually, that's 600, sorry, just from January to March. Let's take a look now. 2023, January to March, that's almost 2,000. I would say that's more people. I would say that's not working. On the only metric that really actually matters, it's obviously a catastrophic failure. It has caused, I mean, how many more people have to die? How many more families have to be destroyed? All the attendant crime that comes along with it, all the attendant misery. I mean, I know people like her don't care as they step over that person ODing on the sidewalk as they're on their way to Starbucks to get their skim oat milk chai latte. But how can they, you wonder, how can they get out in public and just flat out lie? Just flat out lie. She must have seen this information. Maybe because she's a leftist, a far leftist, she just doesn't want to see it. So she's banned statistics, her own statistics, because it causes too much cognitive dissonance. I don't know. Let's take a look. British Columbia. Now, British Columbia, I've made videos on British Columbia before and the catastrophe of harm management or harm reduction, and which you can find those. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. You can find those videos. They started in about 2005. They started with this program, this multi-pillared program, right? This only goes back to 2014, but it was less than this back in 2005, obviously. So you had 370 deaths. Unregulated deaths, unregulated drug deaths, 2014. 2023, 2,572. This is all directly related to government policy, harm reduction. 2024, already it's 1,365 compared to 370 in 2014. Clearly, it's not working, right? These are the only metrics that matter. This is the only thing that matters, right? Clearly, she's either lying or she's an ideologue, or she's an ideologue and she's lying, or she's delusional. I don't know, but she's wrong, clearly wrong.
They not only save lives, they are the access door for individuals who struggle with substance use to get primary health care, to begin to contemplate treatment and access to other tools and resources to get them to a better place in managing their addiction, but also being able to get into programs.
Okay, but why does none of that happen? And why do we have this? Why do we have these numbers here? Like, that's almost, from 2014 to 2023 is almost an order of magnitude more deaths. In Canada, you can see just from January to March 2016, an increase of about 600, to 2023 January to March, almost 2,000, more than a threefold increase there. Why do we see that? If what she's saying is true, why do we see that? Why am I doing this? Why aren't the journalists pulling this up and asking her about it?
When you close that door, we lose lives, we lose people, because the truth is that if we don't have a harm reduction piece to our strategy, then people will die alone.
The truth is, she says, the truth is, I mean, I'm speechless, right? The truth is, she says, that's the truth, she says. As usual, what they say is the opposite of the truth. Whatever they say, it's the opposite of what they say. Harm reduction. It should be called life reduction. This is insane. Like, how we've gotten to this. And it's not just this is all spread all over the United States as well, all over Europe. While people were asleep, these people took over. And they're just out gaslighting everybody, and they don't care. If this person cared, she must have access to the same numbers that I have and that I'm sharing with you. She must have access to those numbers. She must know that it's a catastrophe. She must know. She must know that she is killing people that don't need to die. Her policies are killing people that don't need to die. And yet she still gets out and says this. What explains that exactly?
We know that these are the facts. And we also know that when they come to safe consumption sites, there is a reduction in criminality. There's reductions in.
Really? Because criminality is up quite a bit in Canada. So that's also a lie. A lot of it, obviously, a lot of the increase in criminality in Canada, obviously, is going to be driven by addiction, by drug use. People finding ways to get money, whatever way they can to get money so they can buy drugs. It's unbelievable that this passes. Why isn't she being grilled by the reporters? Can the journalists not find this? This is government websites. These are government statistics. Anybody can find these in a couple of minutes. Why are the journalists not grabbing this data and grilling them, saying, no, it's not good enough for you to say these are the facts. They're not the facts. You're either stupid or you're lying. Why does it fall to somebody like me to spend the 2 minutes that it takes to find this data, to tell all of you? It really is. It really does expose how the media is no longer what it used to be. It's been changed. It's been like everything that's infiltrated by wokeness, by progressivism. It's been changed from its original purpose into something else. And the purpose is always further left. Whatever it is, just further left. Support left. Whatever it is. An order of magnitude more people die from drug overdoses? Fine. It just means that it's not left enough yet. We just need to be more left, I guess. Is that the rationale behind it? It doesn't matter to them. They're not, again, these aren't journalists anymore. Why do we call them journalists? Straight up propagandists, or craven, or cowardly, whatever. Again, it shouldn't be up to me. It shouldn't be up to me to come up with this, to show this easily found information that the government provides to us. It's genuinely shocking, is it not? All right. It drives you, it's enough to drive you insane when you see shit like this. People like this who will just get up and they're either totally incompetent or ignorant or they're liars. I mean, for her, obviously, she can never admit that she's wrong, that her ideology is wrong, that progressivism is wrong, that harm reduction is wrong. It doesn't work. The policies, maybe you could keep the name harm reduction and then actually have policies that would reduce harm instead of reducing life, which is what it obviously is happening here. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.